Hello everyone, myself Dr. Naresh Tambe. I welcome you back once again in the second lecture of this Thinking, Language and Intelligence Module 1 from SEM-II Psychology First Year BA. Now I'll share the screen and we'll start the lecture. Okay, here, yeah. So, okay, all right. So now in first section of this chapter we have seen thinking. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the language. Now, what is language is? Okay, language is a system of communication that is governed by a system of rule. Okay, and that rule is called we call as grammar and can express in infinite number of preposition. Okay, so we use different rules of grammars for language, and it is what language nothing but a system of communication. भाषा काय आहे? भाषा हे संभाषणाचे एक माध्यम आहे जे काय म्हणूया आपण की एका रूल मध्ये बांधलेला आहे, नियमांमध्ये बांधलेलं आहे. नियमला आपण त्या नियमांना आपण व्याकरण म्हणतो, ग्रामर म्हणतो. ओके, नाव हिअर द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ लँग्वेज, भाषेची रचना काय जरा बघूया. ओके, स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ लँग्वेज. सो देर आर some elements in the language by which we form or we structure language, that is phonemes, morpheme, semantic, syntax and grammar. Okay, now what is that? What is phoneme? Different language or different sounds, right? We call it as phonemes. Okay, now phonemes are what? Made by adjusting the vocal cord and moving the tongue, lips and mouth in wonderfully precise way to produce vibration in the airflow from the lungs. So what is phonemes are? It's a different sounds we use in different language. So every different language has different kind of sounds for which we use our tongue, lips, mouth, to produce that particular vibration in that particular language. Okay. Phonemes काय बघा की प्रत्येक भाषेमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे आवाज असतात किंवा बोलण्याच्या तऱ्हा असतात, त्याच्यातनं वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे साऊंड येत असतात आणि त्या भाषेसाठी आपण प्रत्येकाची आपली जी मुवमेंट असते, म्हणजे आपल्या ओठांची, तोंडाची मुवमेंट, जिभेची मुवमेंट ही वेगवेगळी असते प्रत्येक भाषेसाठी. त्याच्यातनं वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचा व्हॉइस असा येत असतो, त्या भाषेचा लहेजा तसा येत असतो, तर त्याला आपण फोनेम म्हणायचं. व्हॉट इज मॉर्फेम? In a language, the smallest unit that carries meaning may be a word or a part of a word, such as prefix. So in a language, smallest unit that carry a meaning. Okay, smallest unit we give the meaning. It may be a word or part of word that we call it as a morpheme. What is morpheme मराठीमध्ये? की भाषेमध्ये एखादा छोटा जो भाग असतो, तो शब्द असू शकतो किंवा शब्दाचा एखादा भाग असू शकतो, जो मीनिंग देतो, जो अर्थ देतो, त्याला आपण मॉर्फेम म्हणायचं. What is semantic? The set of rules by which we derive meaning from the morphemes, words and sentence in a given language. सेमेंटिक काय आहे की एक सेट ऑफ रूल आहे ज्याच्या आधारे आपण मॉर्फेम मधनं म्हणा किंवा शब्दामधनं म्हणा किंवा सेंटेन्स मधनं आपण लँग्वेज अर्थ शोधतो, त्याला अर्थ देतो आपण, तर ते म्हणजे सेमेंटिक. व्हॉट इज सिंटॅक्स? द रूल फॉर combining words into grammatically sensible sentence in a given language, that is syntax. Okay, so असा रूल ज्याच्यातनं आपण शब्द एकत्र करून एक सेन्सिबल, ग्रामॅटिकली सेन्सिबल आपण एक वाक्य बनवतो, त्याला आपण सिंटॅक्स म्हणायचं. अँड देन ग्रामर, ऑफ कोर्स आय डोंट हॅव टू डिस्कस ग्रामर, वी ऑल नो. ओके, सो दीज आर द वे वी स्ट्रक्चर द लँग्वेज. ऑल राईट. नाव language development. Language development kashi hote? How language development occurs? Let's understand. Language development. Okay, now stages of language development. So there are some stages you can see. There are 4 stages: babble stage, one word stage, 2 word stage, or telegraph, it is called telegraphic speech. And language develops rapidly after what we can say complete into complete sentence. Okay, when it happens we can see that all. Just let me reduce it. Okay, now so language development. What is babble stages? It's a beginning at about, it begins at about 4 months. It consists of babbles, many speech sound. Babbles is nothing but many speech sound. So when child is by the age of 4 months, he makes different kinds of sounds by his mouth. Okay, so that is we call it as babble stage, babble speech. It's nothing but just different types of sound he makes or she makes, create, they create, kids create. Okay, that is babble stage till age of 4 months. Then it comes one word stage. When one word stage come beginning at about 12 months, the stage in speech development during which a child speak mostly in a single words: baba, mama, papa, aji, they, give, take, I. So some kind of a single word they learn. One word stage, that is about 12 months they learn. Then two words speech comes. It is called telegraphic speech. Here they mostly speak two words together. So their sentence is of two words only. So by their second birthday, most have enter the two-word stage, like give me, I want, such kind of, okay, small sentence, two-word sentence they learn by age of their second birthday. Then language develops rapidly into complete sentence after this two-word stage. Okay, once children move out of the two-word stage, they quickly begin uttering longer phrase. By early elementary school, children understand complex sentence and begin to enjoy the humor also. So at the age of elementary school, they learn big sentence with different phrases. They understand joke also, and then similarly ahead they learn the language. Okay. सो मराठीत सांगतो पुन्हा एकदा. बायबल स्टेज म्हणजे इथे मुलं वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे आवाज काढत असतात. ते वयाच्या 4थ्या महिन्यापर्यंत होत असतं. तिथे कुठले शब्द नसतो, पण वेगळ्या प्रकारचे आवाज असतात. वन वर्ड स्टेज वयाच्या 12व्या महिन्यापर्यंत मुलं एक एक शब्द बोलायला लागतात, एका वर्षापर्यंत. टू वर्ड स्टेज ज्याला आपण टेलिग्राफिक स्पीच म्हणतो, ती साधारण त्यांच्या सेकंड बर्थडे पर्यंत ते 2 शब्दांचं वाक्य बोलायला लागतात. आणि त्याच्या पुढे आफ्टर जेव्हा ते 2 वर्ड स्टेजमधनं बाहेर पडतात, तेव्हा एलिमेंटरी स्कूलला येईपर्यंत ते मोठी वाक्य बोलायला शिकतात. त्यांना वाक्यांमधला आनंद, जोक सगळं कळत असतं, ह्युमर कळत असतो. अशा प्रकारे ही लँग्वेज डेव्हलपमेंट होत असते. नाउ लिव्हिंग इन अ सायलेंट वर्ल्ड, we know that though we all can speak, there are some people around us who cannot speak, who cannot hear. Okay, we call them as hearing impaired. Yeah, no, hearing and what we can say, speech impairment, hearing impairment, है ना? So now we call it as differently able instead of calling it disable. Disable is not a more respectful word, so we call it as differently able. Differently able. So they are able, but in a different way. So we call them as now differently able. So there are people who cannot hear, cannot speak. For them, this particular topic is there, living in a silent world. So for them, finding have been interpreted as indicating that language play little or no role in the thinking or a cognitive development of the deaf. So people who cannot hear, cannot speak, they also think, right? They also think. So when we are saying a language is important in thinking or in a cognitive development, but here those who cannot listen, who cannot see, cannot speak, who cannot listen, cannot speak, they also think. Their cognitive development also equally occurs the way we are developing. So here some researchers are saying that the language is not a merely important factor for cognitive development. Okay. इथे काय बघा, म्हणजे लिव्हिंग इन अ सायलेंट वर्ल्ड मध्ये आपण ज्यांना ऐकता येत नाही, ज्यांना बोलता येत नाही, ज्यांना आपण आता डिफरंटली एबल असं म्हणतो आपण, तर यांच्यामध्ये यांना ऐकता येत नाही, बोलता येत नाही, पण तरी पण त्यांच्यामध्ये कॉग्निटिव्ह डेव्हलपमेंट, बोधनात्मक विकास होतच असतो. मगाशी जसं आपण बघितलं की बोधनात्मक विकासामध्ये भाषेचं महत्व आहे, थिंकिंग मध्ये भाषेचं महत्व आहे. मग याचा अर्थ असा आहे का की ज्यांना ऐकता येत नाही, ज्यांना बोलता येत नाही, ते विचार करत नाही? तर रिसर्चरचं असं म्हणणं आहे की असं नाही, की यांच्यामध्ये लँग्वेजचा रोल हे पण विचार करू शकतात, यांची पण बोधनात्मक विकास होत असतो. पण मग यांच्या बोधनात्मक विकासामध्ये, यांच्या विचार करण्यामध्ये लँग्वेजचा फारसा रोल नसतो किंवा असावा असं काही नसतं. अदर इतर सो फक्त भाषा हीच कॉग्निटिव्ह डेव्हलपमेंटची किंवा विचाराची माध्यम असू शकेल असं म्हणण्याची आपल्याला आता गरज नाही, असं या रिसर्चचं म्हणणं आहे. So, but many of these deaf are taught sign language, and even if they are not explicitly taught such language, it has been found that deaf children will develop their own. So, कसं आहे की people, some hearing impaired or differently hearing impaired and speech problem, they have learned sign language now. They can speak with sign language. So language differently, they are learning this language. But even if they have not taught this language, still they can develop their cognition naturally. Okay. So these are the points about living in the silent world. Now the brain and the language. So there are two factors, Broca's aphasia and Wernicke's aphasia, that we'll discuss in this minute now. So French physician Pierre Paul Broca reported on a patient tan. This is a different name, okay, not real. Patient tan had lost the ability to speak the word, any word. So shortly after patient died, his brain was examined and found to have a lesion in the left frontal lobe. Okay, so the area of the brain henceforth known as Broca's area, because he found that because of there is a lesion in the left frontal lobe, he cannot speak a single word. So because Broca has reported this, that's why this particular area is called as Broca's area. And because of that area, if there is a damage in that area, if people cannot produce a word or cannot speak, that we can call it as a Broca's aphasia. All right. Now there is a Wernicke's aphasia also. So German neurologist Carl Wernicke identified another brain area. If that damage by a small lesion often result in a stroke, patient left with extreme difficulty in comprehending but not producing. Okay, comprehending spoken language. The spoken language, if this what the Vanix reported that in that particular area, if there is a damage, there is a lesson, then person cannot understand, cannot comprehend the language. Okay, so here's the figure we can see. Left frontal lobe, there is a Broca's area. The right frontal lobe, there is a Wernicke's area. Okay, so this picture we can understand where they are exactly locating the Broca's area and a Wernicke's area. If there is a lesson, we cannot. If Broca's area is there, people cannot speak. If there is a lesson in the, if there's a damage in the right frontal lobe, that place showing here, people cannot comprehend the language. Okay, so this is about this unit. In next lecture, we will discuss about the intelligence. Okay, thank you so much. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.